A warm welcome, everybody. Startup Day, the eTravel Startup Day on the ITB. I Don't Want to Grow Up is one of my favorite songs, and it's kind of the title of my speech today, because today it's all about startup. And to start up means to grow. It means to grow, and it means to grow up. There's a slight difference between to grow and to grow up. To grow means to scale, means to get bigger, means to get more powerful. But to grow up is something that is very much connected to grow old. And there was someone very famous, of course you know him, Steve Jobs. He said, "Stay young, stay foolish." And this is kind of the philosophy that now every big company, every old-fashioned, every boring, every slow company tries to adopt. We want to get young again, we want to get foolish again. But what is so important, what is so nice about growing up? If you take a look at growing up, the process of growing, there's always a little kind of pain. Remember back in your days when you were, let's say, 14, 15, 16, what were your thoughts? Then you were young, of course. Then you were foolish, of course. What were your thoughts? You were thinking about having a car, having a lot of money, being able to drink alcohol, smoking cigarettes and something. But on the other hand side, you always said, okay, I want to be as powerful as my parents and as rich as my parents and as free as my parents, but I don't want to be like my parents are. You know, the difference is your parents are old. Your parents are boring. They lead a boring life. And there's always a big downside if it's all about growing, if it's about growing up. If a startup today grows, then there will be a lot of problems. It's a little bit like if you go back in the years and your father said to you, don't drink so much beer, because if you drink a lot of beer, you will have a bad headache and a bad hangover in the morning. Of course, you had a lot of beer. Of course, you tried it once, but then you recognized, okay, my father told me this will happen, and now I know how to cure it. And that's the idea behind my growth pain matrix. And I was working with a lot of companies, very, very small-sized companies, very, very big-sized companies, very innovative companies, very old-fashioned companies, and I was doing a lot of scaling processes. I accompanied a lot of companies with those scaling processes. One of the most famous here in Germany, of course, Holiday Check, but also the BlackRoll company and some other. They had those processes. I saw them growing from 3 people up to 300 people. And I exactly experienced what happens to a company when it grows up. And it's very similar to what happens to a human being when it grows up. When he or she grows up, he has that kind of problems that typically occurs in a certain age. And this is why I created this growth pain matrix. And I think it's a typical point of head count where certain problems occur. Are there any startups in the room? A startup with, let's say, 3, 4 people. Anyone here? A startup with 7 people. That's a very, very fascinating state of the startup. Startup 18 people, 40 people, someone working in a company, 40 people, someone working in a company, 80 people plus, of course, all the rest of you, I think. And I am sure that you will experience almost the same problems. If you are a company with 3 people, if you're just a powerful young startup, then when it comes to strategy, there's only one point that is important to do. We are doing it. Just do it. Don't think about strategy. We don't have a long-term planning. We don't have a kind of a clear vision or something. We just want to do it. We just want to rock the market. If it comes to workload, in this state of the startup, 3 people, it's not about living a life, it's not about sleeping, it's not about eating. That's just for pussies. We are just doing the job. We are here all night long. We are eating pizza together 11 p.m. and we are just working all the weekend. There's nothing else important anymore. Do you remember that period of time? Yeah. When it comes to communication, everything is quite easy. Let's have a beer, let's sit together. We're always sitting together, sharing one table. We're sharing one table for lunch, for dinner, for breakfast, and we're sharing the bar, and then it's no problem. We are always talking to each other, so everybody knows everything. It's not a problem. HR, so if you're hiring people, where does it happen? It happens just in your network. You're talking at a bar to someone, hey, I'm just a founder, do you have any experience in coding, you want to join us? That's like a kind of recruiting happens in that state. The infrastructure is just bring your own and let's establish a Wi-Fi connection and that's it. I don't care if you're working on Mac or Windows or if you have a professional printing device or something. And the mindset is always who's hot. Because you think, I'm the hottest guy. I know how to rock the market. We are better than all the others. And this is quite good. And this is the kind of the birth cell of every startup. 3 people sitting together, sharing everything, sharing a dream, not having a real kind of strategy, but just doing it. And if it's the next step, so you're really growing, of course you're asking for strategy. And maybe some of your first employees are asking you if you have a proper strategy, and you say, well, the most important concern I have now is just to get money to bring us to the next month, to the next level. That's the kind of investors' relation are very important in that state. And you still have no time to think about a proper strategy. And it's a typical phenomenon that you try to double yourself. You think, I can do it best. So is there any way to clone me? Is there any way to just double me? And then you have the first experience. You hire people. You're 3 people, founders. You hire 4 people. And then you try to do this. 3 plus 4 should be 7. But it's not. Because none of your employees is able to work as powerful as you do, to give that much of effort that you are giving to your startup. And this is a hardcore experience because you were thinking about, I need I need more people, and then everything will be easier. No, it's not easier because you have to learn to establish people, to build up people, to let people grow, to empower them, to learn about delegation, to learn about leadership. That's a very, very important topic in that state of a startup. The communication is getting a little bit more different. So the first questions, did I really get that? No, I have not heard about that yet. Now it's still covered by the by the thinking we are a great team. So we don't want to argue with each other because we are a great team. But the problems in communication, they are starting at that point. If it comes to recruiting, it's still a question of young and cheap. We need another intern, and we need someone, okay, but really we don't have a lot of money to hire top people. So how can we convince them? By our energy, by our vision, maybe by a lot of beer, but it's not a professional HR system that is establishing now. The infrastructure now gets, is about just quick and dirty and just fix it. And there's a lot of problem now slowly happening. The mindset now is, okay, we are hot, but maybe we will fail. And what happens if we fail? And you say we're just brothers to win or die. To fail is not an option. We will do it now. So the mindset is still great in that period of time. If you come to the next level, and now look at all those exclamation marks. Those are really breakpoints. If you don't fix the problem as a startup at that point, you will carry on with those problems, and the problem will get bigger and bigger. People now are really asking for a proper strategy. So try to establish a proper strategy. Try to be clear that this vision, that this strategy is shared all over the people, all over the founders, of course, but also all over the other employees. And this is, sometimes it's really hard. If you think just about where do you want to go? Do you planning an exit? Or you want to establish a big business for the next 10 years or 20 years? What are your plans? What does that mean for your employees? Does your co-founder shares the same strategy, the same vision? It's really a question that you should think about at that period of time. The workload is just do it all. Sometimes you do too much. Sometimes you do the wrong things. You lose focus at that moment. We call it featureitis then. So in Germany, that means you do a lot of different features, but just losing focus. That's really hard, and it's not good for reducing your workload. The communication is a big topic now. 18 people used to talk to each other, everybody knows everything, and now, it's rumors, and I don't know what's happening, what exactly is he doing, do you know the new guy, no, what is he, so there's a lot of slight problems that are shining up now at the moment, and you really have to take care, because most of the companies I've seen, almost all of the companies I've seen, from 10 people to 10,000 people, they all have a big issue when it comes to communication. They all have a problem. And that's, in my opinion, because they did not fix the problem in a very early stage moment, like we are seeing here now between 7 and 18 people. The HR is now also gets very problematic, because people now are asking for their job title. So I want to become a vice president, or at least a head of, or a director or something. They are talking to each other. How much do you earn? Is it really true that this guy is earning more than me, but he just joined the company, let's say 2 months ago, and I'm here for a longer period of time? And so now it happens that there are divisions in your company. So the marketing guys against the product guys, the technical guys against the finance guys. So they're all fighting together. And this is a question that this is the problem that you really should fix in an early stage. Look at this exclamation mark. HR should be really taken seriously. The infrastructure now kind of is a pain in the ass, because you always try to solve the problems as cheap as possible, and now if, let's say, if just the internet connection is slow, or if anything on the server is broken, it really costs you a lot of money, just the waste of time that people are not able to work. The mindset is still, I love this company, it's still quite positive, because you see that you are gaining traction, that you are scaling. If you're 40 people, it's all about let's also do. So we have to do more, you have to do more corporations, we have to do more in marketing, we have to do more like this, like that. So you're still losing focus. Take a look at your strategy. Always get back on the ground and say, yeah, no, that's our product. We have to focus on our product and on what we are strong in. The workload, for the first time in the company, people are saying, that's none of my business. Someone else should solve this problem. And this is a very, very dangerous state. That the big picture is breaking apart. That the big picture is not important, is not known to everybody. So take care that this big picture is clearly shared and everybody knows what his part in this big picture is. Communication now is made up with a lot of rules, and there's a lot of meetings going on, and the meetings of course are boring, and all the people say, when I don't have time to work anymore, I always meeting from morning to evening, and just after 5 o'clock then I'm able to do a little bit of work, the rest is meeting. So structure communication, try to solve this problem. If it comes to HR, then there will be an inner circle. There will be an inner circle of the people starting early with the company against all the other people coming from the outside. I remember a lot of stories from different companies when we were about 30, 40 people, and we were kind of, we did that. We were the founders, and we did that rocket science technology here. And then people coming from outside, from the McKinsey guys and so on. And we say, no, they should not come here because it's ours. Yeah. So there are inside fights. Suddenly there are inside fights. And this is the way, you see, this is the way a startup grows up. I'm not talking about economic scaling, about growth hacking or something. I'm talking about growing up and the pain of growing up, the pain of getting older, of getting slower, of getting ripe. Infrastructure, of course, is now almost fixed, but it's expensive, and we are still the champions. And then it's 80 people, but also it's more than 80 people. Those problems will be recognized by almost everybody who has ever worked for any company. The big picture still missing. Always, why are we so slow? The tech guys, they are not working fast enough. Why are we in former times we have been so fast, but now it's so slow. Let me just just share a quick story about Holiday Check. When we were first in 2005, we were certified by the German TÜV. And the German TÜV is very important for all the Germans booking on German websites. They're very much into the TÜV. The TÜV is so important. And so the TÜV checked our website, and then they had, I think, 3 to 4 technical issues. Our tech guys, our CTO, he was just leaving the room. 2 hours later, he arrived again. Okay, everything fixed. Yeah, I think the younger guys, the younger startups here, they will recognize this scene. 2 years later, there was another certification by the TÜV. And there were 3 or 4 issues. And the tech guy, the CTO, said, oh, I have to take a look. I will put it in the backlog. I think it's 3 to 4 months, and then we will fix it. It's just 2 years later, and we were working like a big-sized, boring, slow company. Everybody is yelling against the fucking slow meetings. There are difficulties and differences in HR. So latest at that stage, you recognize, please don't carry on people that are not good for a company. Get rid of people that are sucking energy. Get rid of people that are not really good for a company. It's so typical for a startup that you're carrying on people. Oh, let's give him another chance. No, he's a good guy. Okay, no, he cannot do it, but maybe he learns it. No, for a startup, this is very, very dangerous. And there are differences, and that means people are good leaders or are not good leaders. And you, of course, you can teach people how to lead a company. How to be a good leader is very, very hard to learn. And normally in a startup, the first guy who's doing the coding, he will be CTO. That's not a good idea. Think about that. The first guy who's doing your marketing campaigns, he will be the marketing director. Maybe not, because in a lot of cases, you will lose a good worker, someone who is really good in his job, and you will get a bad leader. And that's what a lot of people will not appreciate in your company. Infrastructure is like everybody is very posh then, and okay, I need the newest devices, and so it's completely another kind of problem set then. And the mindset is the mindset always happens if you have a party, so your big summer party or your Christmas event, and then are people standing together and say, oh, in former times it was so funny and we had so much fun, but now, where is the spirit gone? Good. Of course, there's a fix of that. There are a lot of things that you can do to make it better. I talked about that. If you are interested in that, I can give you the hint. Just get to my website or get to my LinkedIn account. There you can find the growth pain and the growth fix matrix. Thank you very much in the first case for listening to me. I just wanted to give you kind of an impulse, kind of some ideas how to take a look at startups. Because I think we will hear a lot today about technology. We will hear a lot today about marketing, about customer centricity, about everything that is smart. But remember, to scale a startup also means to scale it smart. Always means to grow up in a way that is still smart. So stay young, stay foolish.